Mira, medase.
It's a dupa. I want dental chocolate toothpaste. Mary Okonya.
Dentora charcoal toothpaste. Any alive dental class toothbrush. Ebusian Jova.
And you know make for dental charcoal toothpaste. Ne alive global toothpaste. Mint warm amount. Sewu pebiatwa. For pharmacy and a shop Ankrah. And a Kumasi. Sewu pedudu etunswa. Free 0266 503031. FDA aji ejodi Ankrah toyi atu.
Opese utukwan eko USA, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, Europe amanhodo na aka no se eye Belgium, France, Spain, Dubai, Qatar ene amanhodo na aka no pe visa ho sensem anase nkrofuku a ebeboa wo na yaje visa nko a ede amanho ade afoni Accelerating Consultancy nkrofuku yi ebeboa wo ede yani ede visa ho sensem achi age amawo ebibi atumi edimu mo amabruchi opese obefa odofo bi so nua maame ope visa ho sensem nko ade afa mpanimfo number na do screen so no test WhatsApp bibi ebetumi edimu uye school ni opese otukwan kwama no ne koto wa disua so ope visa ho sensem invitation letter anase niema keka ho school ho ope ho akwankyere nko ade afa mpanimfo number na do screen so test ya bibi ebetumi edimu niema egu screen so nyina ye mpanimfo nsa no adwuma mo ye se ba visa procurement and mpanimfo ye ho adwuma invitation letter conference to abroad study abroad with scholarship tourist visa any bank statement mpanimfo ye ni nyina ho adwuma ye beboa wo omobo nso eda form opemu nkyiremu ni mu nsebise bia fa mpanimfo na ma na eda screen so no obetumi avisit social media handles no nsa edeka mpanimfo obetumi akomo abefo internet ne so log in eni mpanimfo mo nkomo na bibie ntumi enimu
enkantete no na ye nananom de body tiri ni bidie na twitwi wonse enne de dental charcoal toothpaste abadwaman so sa toothpaste e wonnuane no a efri bidie ene pampromu bidie wo hoi emma wo si eye fita ebo wo se ho ban efri moamoa ho na eyi nkikawa biara e wo se ho dental toothpaste ma wenum eda ho afei so emma wenum ye hwehwehwam esan eduhama wode aka ho nipa de wo siri ani wani onyam enye na make for dental charcoal toothpaste ne alive global toothpaste mint warm amount sewu pebiatwa for pharmacy and a shop Ankrah and a Kumasi sewu pedudu etunso a free 0266 503031. FDA aji ejodi Ankrah toyi atumu.
Back to the show. This is still Faculty Morning on Faculty Television. The PSM Command and Turbusa na 2731 Chocolate Mix, Aura Black Star Limited, Eric Jam Travel and Toll Agency, and Aviaso Victor Consultancy and Toll Agency. Ebusia, yabetina se mraso se exclusive interview na mene mukai no yabetina se na ye domu esuko. Na constitutionally no 4 years bia wo ho kwan wo ho akwanya se ukokromuti no tumi e woso no wodoko tim krata so eto aba e de ma nipa ba ko be yin se omampani na MPP fo abecha mbobre NDC fo abecha mbobre aso kofu bisa se nkebe ya kapadi fufuro bi mbre ana se ino bi fufuro a obeginam as a third force me fa mun ko machikra 2020 ebi mu yomuti pie ye mo mo beto aba ye ba ye hu de ade papa bia ye hu abato no kwa ye hu so percentage no so na e wo low but this year 2024 no so minim say afufro so yomuti epi busua onipa ba kon so we ni ti epi a ye sini pi e ka so ye third force no vision any politics a matse efi na no a epie e de beboa Ghana no ano odin onu adofo and join me ye obi a ye simo e ka se or ye economy se sika ho toto ye de onim de pa. I've been joined in the studio today with an economics, an investment banker, a global business analyst with more than 20 years experience. Wa ye juma wa monane esan so aye juma e Africa ha. Ye boni din say Dr. Samuel Sapon Ankrah. Dodo nanim as Dr. Sam Ankrah no and the guest for today this morning. To wa ubeto aba no hyenan so neti ni ye na yenhwe policies a owo ede emai doctor ye ma kwa about the faculty morning show no eso
me da semini aba
yenkatwa na enka brofo because me say one what pop brofo metie o countless times metie o pa nti yenka ni twa na yenfa blend wo ho
oh de be kama ye audience atia see bi
ene de ye wo fie mu efie ni
ya be fie nti
aha nti no e wo say ye katwi no
ye katwi ni brofo na de frafra
right intebusia Dr. Sam Ankrah presidential aspirant and as I can say presidential candidate independent presidential candidate ujina say ye beto no so aba nti mo amabre MPP in fact mo fa MPP no mo fa umbrella any elephant no entwinchen let's pave the way for Dr. Sam Ankrah doc ya be fie ye be wisa say ekwan so na emom no ye be say ye hu bebi a wo free bebi a won so no e free ye be say ye hu wankasa ye ti ya na say Dr. Sam wabao obestande for president o ye hina ankasa
Dr. Ankrah Ghana ni ma papa we free Ghana I'm say me free Ashanti region
okay
in such a Dumasi and my papa said na say free Accra na Ashanti so enti me a pure Ghanaian na me ko school Pokwari school
okay
was a school prefect
okay
and
after leadership skills
and after sixth form I went to university in London and throughout from there I graduated to work in investment banking industry and for the past 15 years I developed into becoming a development economist
okay
looking after the emerging markets and when it comes to the emerging markets from Asia to the Far East, Southern America, Africa, there's not a single president or finance minister service meaning international dinkomo about development of the country,
okay,
progress, policy, capital raising, direction, and projects that would move the country from their circumstances into better living. My whole career has been how to help the marginalized or the deprived to be lifted up from their social circumstances to a better standard of living. And that has been the focus of what I've done over the years. And I believe that the time has come. Ghana deserves or Ghana needs competent hands to run our economy. I'm not bringing others down. I'm not trying to downgrade what we've seen before. But the reason why companies like Coca-Cola, Apple, Samsung, all these big corporations, they pay huge sums of money to get best CEOs to manage the companies. Pampas, you look at the Patronology company now within a year or two, a multiply company in size and also the input and asset output of the companies. I believe Ghana has reached that point. We bring competent hands to run our country. We are running corporate Ghana. People that have done things should be the ones running our country. No more political platform who shout loud. No more anybody that talks and appear to be somebody should be elected. We should look into how competent hands, corporate Ghana, people that are chosen should be people who have proven themselves that they are capable of doing it. They've done work from their private life, showing for that, look, give me the opportunity, I can do the work. I believe, this is the style, this should be the direction for our country so that we'll be able to turn our country around. Because we share resources at a war. SARS statement here, Nana Akufo-Addo make here say it is Sikaso. It's a very, very truthful statement. But it requires a transformative leader, somebody with the requisite skills and experience to be able to turn around or help us find the fortunes or the money that we sit on. It's not anybody else that can do it. And I believe, Sam Ankrah present all the qualities. And 2024, Ghanaians should discard the status quo and look to us and vote for us.
Okay, so say corporate. Uber for businesses, business-minded people. That's your target? I'm
coming for Ghanaians. You see, economies...
But percentage, or more dorsal?
Well, I'm coming for every Ghanaian. Every Ghanaian. But let's be very careful here. Economies are run by corporations or the private sector. I know that there are sloganeering going around, the private sector is the engine of growth. But Usha, your country, about 90% of our businesses are being run by government, politicians, and we cannot drive this economy at the back of it. Look at the people we choose even to run these organizations. It's like the whole systems and structures we have in place. I say, cabal be, invest, sika, win elections, then they share the spoils among themselves. The entire nation will be left aside. Nothing happens. The first, just after 2 weeks, and I say 3 weeks after elections, people go back to the same. They don't see any development. They don't see anything until the election is coming again. That cycle has to end. We need to be serious, because the only way our lifestyles, the only reason our circumstances can change, if we have the right leaders taking in charge of our country. If we are not getting that transformative leadership, that's why we keep on the status quo, work as usual. Now I budget t-shirts in 800 cities near Voti, then we go back to the same MPP, NDC, neo-colonialist style of governance there. Then we are not going anywhere. So I'm saying to Ghanaians this morning, the time has come for us to take a different direction to get to a better destination. We can't keep taking the same direction and expect it to get to a different destination. It doesn't work like that.
Meaning, sir, answer now, why your research? I share a real Musenia a city, and I mean, so what grounds on so you're back down to the ordinary Ghanaian. Would you say, dear Pana, ye pay, and a dear Pana to me a boy?
You see, the Ghanaian is looking for better living conditions. The Ghanaian is looking for benefiting from the state providing infrastructure, the state providing good health care, good education, having employment, especially the youth. These Ghanaians are not looking for anything extraordinary. It's the basic things that they are looking for. But unfortunately, they are not getting it because of the style of governance that we have or the kind of leadership that we've been choosing. And I'm saying, for us to be able to build something that can take care of every Ghanaian and give us what we're looking for in terms of employment, in terms of our health care, in terms of education, in terms of all the basic things that human beings, even sanitation, water, electricity, these are basic things that a state of this caliber should be able to provide. Unfortunately, we don't have it. And I'm saying it's a style of governance that is putting us into this situation. If we really want to have this basic things in our life and better and a much more better living condition, then let's discard the NDC, MPP status quo style of politics and look for competent hands to run our nation.
Now, I want you to give me your take. You are an economist. Give me your take on the economy, the current economy in Ghana.
First of all, I'll say we don't have an economy.
We don't?
We don't. I mean, we haven't built an economy over the years. This is an important country. You are importing toothpick, onions, tomatoes. You are importing animal intestines to eat. I mean, what economy are you talking about? If it rains, your house is wet. If the sun is hot, your house is burning. So what is the economy? You can't control anything. You are importing inflation. You are importing everything into your country. And see, I'm saying, sir, for us to be able to start even addressing these issues, we need to start building a local economy. Let's be serious and address the issues. And some Ankrah and the Afia movement have 22 strategic projects that leads to policy. And to say for agriculture, what are the projects that we need to put in place that would help to boost our agriculture?
We will come there.
So we'll come there. And I am saying, the economy is in shambles, if any, but I don't see that we even have we don't control anything. We are going to war-torn Ukraine to beg for food, when Ghana has arable lands 10 times the size of New Zealand and other places. So we need to be serious as people. Let's stop the jokes. Let's stop the politics. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what are the issues that need to be addressed. Rather than all these noise, MPP, NDC, those would not yield any returns. Critical thinking into situations and finding solutions to these problems. And this is what Sam Ankrah and the Afia movement is offering Ghanaians.
So there is no economy. Now, I want to ask you, people are saying that the head of economic management team, the flag bearer for the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, owns Ghanaians an apology for economic mismanagement. Do you agree to that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, As an economist, you sit in there and the basic fundamentals are being flawed, and you are not coming out to talk against it or addressing it, but you are telling Ghanaians, let's give you the opportunity to run the country before you change it, and you don't have principle to resign or say, look, this is against what I even know by my profession, so I'm not going to kowtow to it, and you just accept it and play along with it, and you want to get the chance to run the country before you turn it around. I think that's absolutely wrong. All the things Bawumia said before coming to government was perfect, honestly true. All his analysis, all his, his speeches and lectures were perfect. What has he done when he got to governance? He's repeated the same mistakes. So basically, that is enough grounds for him to come out and tell the Ghanaians, I'm sorry, I couldn't do what I was supposed to say, and I'm resigning in peace, or please bring somebody better to run the country. Honestly speaking, that should be the approach.
Would you say Dr. Wilson call resign?
Well, if he claims he doesn't believe in what the present government was offering, then as a matter of principle, as a professional, yes, he should have resigned. But to kowtow to it and stay and be part of and say, oh, I don't believe in, for instance, I don't believe in e-levy, but yet you are the head of the economic management team, you are the vice president of the country, and you think a policy like that is going to affect financial inclusion and it's not good for the people, but you don't want to fight against it or help. Who are you fighting for? Are you fighting for yourself, your family, or the people? Because if you are fighting for the people, then you got to stand a position of principle and say, this is against the welfare of the people. This is not going to help in your bit to the economy, and as a result of that, you either go my way or take your job, I'll resign and go and prepare myself and come and take over the government. But he didn't do that. He stayed in there, didn't complain, and all of a sudden he feels that once he gives the chance, he's going to turn things around. I think that shouldn't be the approach.
Right. I was saying so presidential aspirant, independent presidential aspirant, na AD Nkomo Dr. Sam Ankrah. They say no, ye boy na the policies and ne jumedi a opese ode Ghana efaso se ne be ya so kwa abato no a when who said Dr. Sam Ankrah mfoni wo ho a wo de kokromoti no epim so de ama no. Ye sha se NFI economy because ehọ na wo fuma no a ehye. Oba ye kasem totoye se na ya setena mu sitie na enso totoye ben ena wo de eba ebetumi asesa de ye hu ni.
Very good. You see, the basic fundamentals of the economy is looking at our currency having value, appreciating the value, and also inflation, making sure we have stability in the market. And then you look at other things. Once you have those things in place, and not making sure people are earning the right living wage, making sure that they can afford the basic living, electricity, water, having access to good roads. These are all the factors that endure good economy. So for anybody to tackle our issue head on, these are the basic situations that you've got to look at. Now let's look at food prices.
Okay.
How do you address the issue of food pricing in our country? Ghana at the moment is one of the most expensive places to live. We have so much around us. And like I said earlier, yet we are importing everything. I mean everything. Pepper and all of those. What is causing our country not to be able to take advantage of fertile land and any vast land DNT and harness that resources?
Okay.
Who is benefiting from this current mess? These are critical questions you have to ask. While agriculture has been the mainstay of our economy. Since independence, cocoa ni atonsa fertilizer edigu asasema cocoa ni a good yield e hefa ye import it enti yentimi build fertilizer plant e Ghana na ye produce fertilizer na fertilizer ye emabo ne ma form e ma yentimi nchen koma ye farmers a o ma twa ye ho ahia because uko bi so msisi a one of their major issues e yield any a friend is saying making sure so they get a better use out of the anti-fertilizer is essential. Your fertilizer this every year we are importing almost about 1 billion 500,000 to 500 million to 1 billion worth of fertilizer. Whilst if we put a plant in Ghana, we can create employment, we can pass on technology, we can get it much, much cheaper. We can even go to up to 55% less the price they are paying now. So I am saying, say, the Afia movement is promising Ghanaians to establish a 500,000 metric tons a year fertilizer plant in our country. That will be done and dusted within the first 2 years of our governance.
Right.
The first 90 years, we will sign the agreements and the MOU to start building that fertilizer plant. We have done the feasibility and we have done all of that, and we are saying and promising Ghanaians, when that is established, the cost of fertilizer would be as low as 55% less the current price. And we'll make sure, say, everywhere around the country, our farmers have access to this.
Right.
Number two, we have serious issues with our land tenure. Ownership of land is a problem in Ghana. And then, yes, you and a child assassin. What you say, could you call a Juma or Swa? Now, the Obija Fetch the court. Now, court is you any Kokujuho. This kind of environment does not inure well to the development of our economy. We need to find a solution to this once and for all. Or the government has to step in and give comfort to farmers, whether say local investors or foreign investors coming in. Until again, we are saying, say, we are using blockchain to resolve our land tenure system. Ghana government would give guarantee to investors. You see, what people don't understand, and I don't when they start making noise, oh, we are doing a friend saying food planning for foods and jobs. These are very good policies. But if the real issues are not addressed, you cannot attract the investment into the industry.
Right.
And until the industry is attractive, you cannot promote it. It's not rocket science. Everything leads to the other. Until you cannot jump from A to B. The faster woman is slogan. Oh, 1D, a friend is saying 1D, 1F, and I say planning for food and jobs doesn't make it makes attractive. The enabling environment is what makes those industry or those sectors attractive. It is anybody who say, as I see when I seminar make say to come about home they just say I'm better using my money to go and import and sell rather than coming even to grow. And we are saying say we'll solve that land tenure system. Once we are able to bring enabling environment, solve the land tenure system, we'll bring in technology. Countries like Israel, Ukraine, they have fantastic groups who wants to partner local farmers or local investors to invest into the industry, bring their technology, bring their skill. Once you have peaceful land issues, once you have the technology, as an investment banker, the easiest is the money. Money will be chasing these projects. And before you realize, we have big industrial farms across the country. This is how you build economy. It's not slogans. It's not all these gimmicks. The real issues being addressed. An investor is not motivated by the fact that a friend is saying, what will your advert for TV? So they bring their reps on the ground. They call something feasibility. Questions. Yeah, asking the question. So once there's less risk, it automatically becomes attractive. So what I'm advising government and what we are promising to do, government, we will make sure that we will de-risk all these industry to make it easier and attractive for investors to get in. Then we can make sure that we can feed ourselves, feed our West African region, or even feed the entire continent. So these are some of the basic projects that we intend to put in place. Again, we are talking about affordable economy. You cannot build affordable housing if you don't have affordable products to build a housing. What are the main components that go into housing? Obeka said, a friend is saying, cement, iron rods, all these things. Now, CCI, oh, cement bag, Oda sorry, I say 70 cities, and they 100 cities. The key component of cement is clinker. Clinker composes about 97% of the value of what cement is. And so you import it. Eba Ekroma say nothing has occurred to anybody to establish a clinker plant and bring the price down. Until again, some Ankrah and the Afia movement. Extensive feasibility study, and we want to put up a clinker plant in Ghana to produce clinker, about 2 million metric tons a year, and also by bringing the cost of clinker in the country as low as 65%. These are real tangible figures I'm giving you. And this is the first 90 days of Sam Ankrah's administration. We will sign an agreement to implement this policy. So there are many, and again, it's not just reducing the price. We are creating value. We are creating jobs for our team of young people who have nothing to do. Look, we are making sure that people are having a living wage earnings that they can live in the country. So these are all the overall benefits that we bring into the economy. This idea of buying and selling, import, cannot grow our economy. We cannot have an economy like that. Just drive through the streets of Accra and Kumasi. It's pathetic. All you see is everybody selling and buying something. There's no industry. There's no agriculture. There's no serious agriculture. This has to come into an end. And that is why we are saying the status quo is no more an option. Ghanaians should be able to think through the process, understand that and these MPP would not resolve their problem. They will go back immediately to the same situation after elections. Let them start thinking and choose the right people to lead this country.
Cement that's equal to the affordable housing,
Absolutely.
Right? Is that your reason to say about limit advance rent payment to 3 months?
Absolutely. I mean, again, how can it make sense? A young man who has just graduated, or a young man who has just finished, a young woman who has just finished hairdressing. Now, when you're maybe Accra or so over here, you're better a friend of Fanko and I say, I'm a Samai. Who's you make you 2 years rent and sign out the diamond? It's wrong. It's not affordable. The maximum should be a 2-month deposit. That's the first month the person sits in, and the last month where the person leaves.
Emrano about rent, no? Like as I say, at least I'm name bro 6 months. Ubawa be shemu kinana.
Me be shemu kinana san about 2 months. And any landlord that does that will take them on. Till we want to bring affordability across the country. Our people have to live in the real conditions. We are living like magicians. I talk to waiters and waitresses, madam. Oji 1,000 cedis a month. Nikas the kakra be free ni fi akodru adwuma me about 1,200 cedis. On fire aduane kan ho, on fire atade kan ho, on fire or maso dia eno so kan ho ni their school. Is that how we want to promote a country? Let's be serious. And these are the questions I am challenging young people in this country to question the authorities, because it looks like Bibian fire home. How can we live like that and think it's normal? These are basic things that needs to change. And I'm promising Ghanaians, and it's not just rhetorics, I'm promising Ghanaians, given the opportunity, these issues will be resolved, because we know and we have how to resolve the issue. How can a country of Ghana, a population of about 31 million, GDP of 79 billion, have more than 125 ministers? Job for the boys. There's so much waste and excesses. We'll cut this, we'll slash it as low as 50%. I am promising Ghanaians no more job for the boys. We will make sure the money goes to where it's needed. We're going to use only 20 ministers around this country. 20 ministers, yes. 20 ministers.
How are you going to do it?
Well, look, Norway has a GDP of almost 600 billion.
Okay.
They only have 17 ministers.
Okay.
How can a country of 79 billion in GDP have 125 ministers? The size of the GDP should determine the number of ministers you have to work for your country. And I'm saying we have the structure and the system that we have in place that would help us to use only 20 ministers to run the country. Again, UK has a GDP of 1.1 trillion and over. A population of 65 million. They only have 350,000 government workers on their payroll. In Ghana, GDP of 79 billion has over 1 million government workers. What are we trying to achieve? Waste and excess in the system. Absolutely. So we are going to... I'm coming. That is why I talked to you about the 22 strategic programs and projects that we want to establish. So that the private sector would drive the economy, government would administer and make sure that we do the administration, making sure the right things are in place, they get the right licensing, we cut bureaucracy, we make the environment easier for people to come in and enjoy and do business. The economy will be driven by what they call the private sector. The employment alone that these 22 strategic projects are going to create is over 5 million, which will obviously take all the excesses from where we're going to lay off from the government sector into the private sector. We are looking to do a launch, a press conference where I will take Ghanaians through every step-by-step approach of how Sam Ankrah and the Afia movement will solve Ghana problems, and we'll outlay all this. By the time we finished our 4 years, we had created not imaginary, real 10 million jobs opportunities, and the spin-offs would be uncountable. These are real, tangible things. Look, and that is why I said this country requires competent hands. If the person hasn't done, the Brits have a saying: if you cannot bend it, you can't break it. If you so people that have to run our economy, CEO of Ghana, has to have been able to bend it before they can break it. And I come on the table with that kind of experience and skill to help solve our problems once and for all.
Still on the economy, also Oba introduced an apprenticeship program for every person. How are you going to do that?
Well, again, see,
it will be a benefit.
Apprentice, for instance, who share your your architects, your accountants, your doctors, your masons, your hairdressers, your barbers. These are all institutions. Nipa gumbi a first nipa ye juma. And so young men, if we are bonting by you start all this. The real tangible experience, skill you can pass on to somebody. And they say, Omeye apprentice now unsia ejumano on hands. And we are saying, say, young men coming out, over 100,000 or 200,000 graduates coming every year would be apportioned into these different professionals. And say we are training here 5 years or whatever, almost a friend is saying apprentice. It's mutating and it's developing skill. You are developing your economy. You are giving income to people, and the government would provide the income for the companies. This, for instance, when I hear a friend is a quantity surveyor, now say the nipa 10 na besha wasia, now we training or more. Almost salaries, government is taking care of it while they are being trained. Now we are concentrating on making sure that you expand and grow your business. By so doing, you build a solid economy with a solid base, real economy, not imaginary, not done on cosmetics, but done on fundamentals that would be unshaken. This is what Ghana requires. This is what Sam Ankrah and Afia is offering Ghanaians.
Right. The issue of corruption. So policies na ye can want. I know so to me won't tackle corruption.
Absolutely.
And with the office of the special prosecutor, are you touching that office? Are you going to amend things there?
Well, you see, the key cause to corruption has to be addressed head on. There's too much power, executive power. Say president, and I appointed IGP. President, and I appointed Chief Justice. President, and I BBS ASIA. Do you know who I am? Because the power is in one center. Everything ends at the Jubilee House. If we don't have checks, separation of powers, and checks and balances, the fight of corruption is illusion. The president cannot go and appoint a chief prosecutor, and you expect them to go after the government as they're supposed to do. Look, we are human beings. Let's be real here. And what Sam Ankrah is promising Ghanaians is, number one, we want to make sure that we review the constitution. We call for a review of the constitution, reduce the powers of the president, have separation of powers and checks and balances, so that the IGP will be appointed by an autonomous body, the Chief Justice and the Attorney General Department will be decoupled away from each other, and we'll have all these individual bodies looking after every one of them, making sure say everyone is doing the right thing. Once you have that separation of powers and checks and balances, then you go further into technology. In real time, we want to make sure say our tender processes, the way we give contracts will all be done with no faces. There will be real computerized system. Friends say tender buy your TV stations, say with their newspapers, we advertise to the whole nation. People see it, they go and they log in and put their details in there. The tender board is totally separate away from government, independent professionals that will sit down and make assessment away from any personal interface. Because the end I said, just a Miami Sako DHR ministry, how many minister could share with Incomoa, and then I did 1 million, 2 tables, 5 million, 2 tables. So that kind of corrupt way of doing things. We will cut all of that by using technology to make sure, say, these things we will remove the human interface and give a fair treatment and structures in place, about awarded contracts and so forth and so on.
Right.
So these are some of the critical things. And you better make sure that the punishment take corrupt money. They can even steal the money, but they can't enjoy it. The issue of money laundering and how people acquire money, we will make sure that we enforce that law. You can't just put any money in the bank if you haven't, proving the source of the money and so forth. So all these are the stuff we need to put in place. Besides, see, we will catch and say, oh, Achiaa, I could be as a government official, immediately our administration will tell you to sit aside. These are the measures we'll take. Sit aside, we'll conduct an investigation, and if you are found culpable, we'll jail you, make sure you refund whatever you are stealing plus interest. We're going to be very hard on corruption to make sure that it will not be attractive for Ghanaians or anybody who gets into public service.
Right. I have a message for you. Sanano says, this is a visionary leader. The time for a new force is now. Now, someone is also asking that NPP, the NDC, we've seen them. How can we trust this man?
You see, people ask these questions, and I think, let's be real here. Obia Kasa should be a free bar. Yempaying for a car says, a quattro class about tomorrow. Ankrah is not coming as a nobody. I come very, very prepared and very experienced with a lot of know-how. I don't have to do this, Miniaba. I don't have to. Even at this my young age, I can comfortably retire in my corner and enjoy my life. But you see, God makes us a blessing to be a blessing unto others. I have sat down and observed what is going on. And I'm who said no. The systems and structures we have in place, so we won't get anything out of it, and our people will be suffering and suffering. I have advised outside government. You can ask the government. I've been part of government advisory. I've written different policies and so forth, but it hasn't been taken. I realize that the only way we can influence is if I sit on the helm of affairs, or if we get the opportunity to run the country, and that's how we can change things. And I come from a position where the reason why I'm doing this is to help the marginalized, is to help structure our economy, is to help put things into place. Not that I feel entitled to be a president, or not that I feel I'm a leader of a party, but I set aside as a professional, as an expert, and I look at what is happening and feel that how it's going would not take us to where we want to do, where we want to go. Something has to be done differently.
Another question for you is that, or say as an independent candidate, what we know is the MPP NDC. How do you intend to win the election? Well,
election are won by people, and that is why you and I didn't come away.
Right.
And it's a full say. Na sitting our team in CCA. You started a fourth republic. Politics, as a son, as sitting in when said, "Ne want to us will enjoy life on your good water, good 24-hour electricity, and maybe be Uncle MPP NDC." But Ofiu say. A dream wrestler is certainly a dream who said, a quiet fast UDM say, why? How do we now come back, regroup, reassess, and find solutions to our problems there? And here, onshore some Ankrah and Afia movement, because we are bringing relief to our people, and we are here to resolve Ghanaians' problems head on, once and for all.
Right. Last question, then, the better last hour. Na me was bank as more interest was that question, but me say si number no subium na wa pese o de o questions ebra Dr. Ankrah hono obeya no e dia 0531417237 and that's 0531 397257. Doc, education. Oh yeah, then.
Again, education. I have a master plan to resolve our education problem. Free education is starting from free education. It's a fantastic policy. However, a lot of people were asking, how are you going to fund free education? He never answered the question because it wasn't well thought through. The feasibility wasn't done, and we didn't ask we didn't push to get answers to the questions. I think the idea of having free education is fantastic. Like I said, it's even in the constitution that we should give free education to our people. But if you look at the current system or the way it's been adopted, the quality of our education is going down. I know people, but they've passed more exams. Look, let's stop the games. Let's stop the politics. Let's be real as human beings, discussing our issues on an open, transparent way. Quality of education has gone down. Look at our A-listed schools, like Opokwari School, Prempeh College, Presec, Achimota, Fansipim, Oga School, Adisco, all these schools. Just look at them. The infrastructure remains the same, and yet the school population has multiplied, sometimes as high as 67% number of people. If you're a teacher with a class of 100, now has 700. There's usual, what they call a campus relationship building that we used to have. It's no more. You have people in a class who don't even know their classmates. The teacher-student ratio is gone overboard. Facilities at our school has all been, it's not solving, what they call enough for the students. Say nipa ba ku na use 1 WC, say nipa 7 na AUC. Can you imagine the chaos going on and how it's bringing the quality? Education is not just classroom teaching. All this environment helps to give good education to our young people. That's how you train young people. And it's wrong. So I am saying, sir, how do we fund this issue? Because the reason why it's in that state is because of funding. We would make these schools autonomous, independent from government. All these major schools would be independent. We'll let the school boards, the PTA, the missions, the old boys, and anybody that's interested, even the chiefs in the locality that the schools are situated, should form the board. Maybe Ghana Education Service can put somebody on the board, fine. And the board has to run the schools independent, away from government. All these schools. Then we'll create a roadmap for all the other schools as well, who wants to qualify to be independent, to be able to tick certain boxes. Once you're able to qualify, you also go independent. Government should concentrate on building community schools. You should wake up from your house, 10 kilometers away from your house. There should be a school there for you. Independent schools for you to walk into. Then you make it, what do you call it, the fee paying, the free education, means tested. Parents have to be means tested. It shouldn't be wholesale free education for all, but people that are qualified to have free education are the ones that we should give them free education. When you do that, you solve the problem of what you call a funding, you develop the problem of high quality education, you keep the value, and you give accessibility so that every Ghanaian can have access to education. This is what we want. We're in a country where about 60% of our people are what they call it, uneducated. The focus, it shouldn't be just a few, but giving access to everybody.
That's why you said we're mandatory.
Absolutely. So it'll be compulsory, mandatory for everybody to go to school.
To what level?
Up to diploma level. Diploma level. And we'll create a vehicle to be able to get to that point. This is what some Ankrah is offering Ghanaians. We need to develop our society. We need to harness the human capital of our people. And we need to grow with education. And again, it gets to a point where education just move away from providing labor force into the market. We need to advance it to thinking schools, creating innovative centers where our young people can be innovative, they can be creative, that is, they can create things like Facebook, Instagram, they can create things like Uber, they can create things like Airbnb. These are the level that we have to push our young people to. And this is a quality that our curriculum needs to be targeted as well. I know we have STEM. STEM is just a fraction of what it has to be done. We need to develop it to a point where we bring advanced education, critical thinking to our young people to help develop our country. This is what Sam Ankrah and the Afia movement is promising Ghanaians will deliver to you.
Talking about the curriculum, you said that you elevate local languages in schools.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
but says here as community. But I believe that
it's local languages, you know, Ghana,
everywhere we have to make sure we factor one language for our young people. Because we are losing our identity, we are losing our culture. And these are the things that would help us to be able to create our own economic models that would speak to our local experiences. It starts from the language, intimacy, I would encourage the speaking of our language.
Anyway, education sector, no National University. But yeah, but in all 16 regions,
That's right.
Say Accra, where they are not Legon.
Oh, sir, when
these
these are established institutions. We'll make sure, sir, we'll develop a new plan to build across all the 16 regions. Absolutely. National universities across to feed into the education model.
Mandatory.
Exactly. So mandatory. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of inflows of young people coming out, and there has to be an exit. And that is how we want to use that model to create and specialize in different sectors of the economy across the length and breadth of the country. Right. This is how you build economy. Right. We need to move building our country from deal making into nation building. Okay. And this is what Ankrah is offering Ghanaians. So Ghana, there's a deep contrast between what we are offering them and what the others are talking about.
They say nation builder and Jeff baby. Dr. Sam Ankrah, the nation builder. And
that's all because you are talking based on real facts. People are using that as a slogan, but we are talking about real tangible things that we want to do to be the nation builder.
Right. There's another question for you.
I accept it. And
Inshallah.
Amen. Amen.
Also, Mr. Sam, please, what will you do about the physically challenged should you become president?
Again, we are not even concentrating and looking at our disabled people. And no until now, Olympic Games, now who say, I'm telling you, you see, let's stop the games.
Right.
What is the infrastructure for the disabled in our country?
Okay.
You consider Ankrah as human beings are now. It's not a matter of camping them into, and it covers what you call mentally retarded as well. It's only in Africa, but also be about them street him. In UK, in America, you don't even see that. You don't see that because they are looked after. The system has policies and structures that take care of these people. I have to go even when they put them into, go and see the psychiatric hospital, the state it is in, and all of those. Go and see this building you have. Do you have what you call disabled lift to bring disabled people here? Because the laws and systems are not working. So I will not blame any. Listen, my words. I will not blame any disabled person that goes into any country and he sees the infrastructure, the facilities for disabled that you want to come back to this country. I am saying, sir, Ankrah is promising Ghanaians, every one of our brothers and sisters who are disabled, we are going to bring them back into society. Because you have no idea the IQ, how smart some of these people are, given the opportunity. So we'll bring them, make sure, sir, we'll create a disability act that would protect their rights and give them same benefits as able people. This is what Ankrah is promising Ghanaians.
Doc, me them personal question. Internet, no, they say ukoto data, no buwe dempa. Me say uba dena we, o de dena we ya mame.
Me da sipa, minya. In a free market like ours, the only thing that would bring pricing down, a competition.
Okay.
Say siya minotia say. MTN is playing monopoly. Where is the competition? This is where the government is supposed to sit up quickly and create an environment to enable serious investment to come into the market to compete with MTN and to bring the prices down.
Right.
Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, all these countries have data costs 50% less than the cost of Ghana. I didn't know your cost here so high because there's no competition and we have only one company that keeps growing and growing and growing and the others are quiet. There has to be deliberate effort by the state to bring in competition to compete with MTN to bring the cost of data down. Over and above that, we also look at other technologies. Like satellite technologies across the country without any of these cable laying and so forth to bring the cost down in our village, make it accessible and available in our villages and all the other places. So I am promising Ghanaian again, I'll create competition in the telco industry and we'll bring new technology, cheaper, much cheaper technology to bring the cost of data across the nation at a much cheaper cost. Right. I would say we can bring it down to about 70% of the cost that we are buying now. And these are real tangible figures, systems and structures, technology that we'll announce in our coming press conference so that Ghanaians will know that it's not just talking, but we are backing with facts and figures.
So competition is the solution.
Competition is one of the solutions. Technology is also one of the solutions. And we're bringing both to the country to help us solve our problems. You see, when the government thinks about the people, they want to address these issues. But when government don't think about people, that's why they ignore this and they allow the market to dictate and go higher and higher, knowing for income does not meet the expenditure. We are going to be the people's government. Our policies, our initiatives, our governance would be based on the welfare of our people. So anything that would make life unbearable or uncomfortable, we'll address it head on.
The issue of sanitation.
I mean, the problems, our myriads of issues is unbelievable.
Yes.
Missy, I took a trip outside the country. I've been going around to the fringes. Our country is engulfed with rubbish and dirt. And there's no solutions to it. Apart from, say, taking it and dumping it somewhere. Waste is money. Already, I am talking to groups in Canada.
Yes.
Who would, from day one of some Ankrah's administration, and if there's any of them, when they should approach me, I'll help them, to make sure, say, waste, the managing of waste or the disposal of waste is compulsory. You can't just throw waste around. Look at our gutters are choked. Our everywhere, I mean, in Utah, flooding, killing people.
Yeah.
Because we have open gutter systems, we have litters all around the country, and so forth. And I'm saying, say, when some Ankrah and the Afia movement are giving the nod, our processing of waste will become compulsory. We'll process every waste. We get clean water out of it. You get even the what do you call it? You can use brick. You can build bricks out of the waste. Look, waste is money, and we want to harness that opportunity to be able to make sure, say, first our environment is clean, and also we are making money out of it and creating employment and building technology. The idea of chucking stuff into the sea, chucking stuff into the river bodies, choking everywhere, stink and filth everywhere, would be a thing of the past, because we have deliberate policies and structures that would address this issue. So, and then we'll make it, we'll move it further to law. In Brazil, when you drop plastic in the beach, you can be jailed for 72 hours with no bail. These are the sort of initiatives, that policies, and laws, again, that we are going to put in place, so that people cannot just go outside the roadside and urinate and do all of those. We'll provide facilities for them, but if you flout the law will deal with you. We can't build this country without the rule of law. The rule of law has to be enforced. So we put systems and structures in place that the rule of law would work, so that we'll be able to clean our environment. There is a serious correlation between environment and health care. And this is what the government, at the national level, they should realize. And this is what some Ankrah and the Afia movement is promising Ghanaians.
Last but not least, wow. Now, me say you touch you on creative arts industry and sports. And do now mobile, more creative arts and sports. Then I want more.
I'm going to build a creative art at the back of the American creative art industry. Where they realize the marginalized, those in the ghettos, were very good, very, what do you call it, creative, and yet they were not making out of it, so they have to create empires. Now, if you go to America, in the creative industry, that's where all the rich people are coming from. Because we need a creative industry to build our economy. At the back, I mean, California, Hollywood alone, the amount of money raised out there is about a whole 90% of California's GDP. Why haven't we harnessed into the resources, that kind of resources approach? Go to, what do you call it, Jamaica. The core of their economy is built on sports. And see, for any government to ignore the creative arts and the sports, it's something that I don't understand. We are going to harness the resources of our young people. We are going to create jobs out of it. We're going to build talents. We're going to promote our nation at the back of the creative arts and youth and sports.
What about stadiums?
Well, it goes with it. How can you say you create 5-star footballers and 7-star footballers when they don't have training pitches or stadiums to work from? And see, it's all part of the holistic approach. Like I'm saying, we will announce to you, we'll send an official invitation to you to advertise and bring people to come and listen to our press conference, which would sit down, go through bit by bit on every sector. It will take about 2 hours, but I hope people will bear with us. And then afterwards, we'll leave the press to publish it everywhere on their social media handles, on their websites, on their papers, to make sure that these are the tangible things that would turn our countries around. Enough of the jama and all this noise on campaign trails and shouting and yeah. It doesn't bring us any development. The real development is the thinking. Let's sit back as people. Let's stop all the noise. Let's start critically assessing situations and see who is offering solutions to our problems. Not who is shouting loud on the platform or who has the biggest crowd or who is making yeah. It's enough of that. We're tired. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Right. Press conference now. What Bosso Sadabe neba so?
Ebasu on the 6th of August, but like I said, we'll officially write to you to confirm the date. It's coming on the 6th of August. We're looking at doing it in Kempinski, and we want every camera on this country to be there to take coverage and then give you the room to critique the policies, to ask every questions, to punch holes wherever it is, where would find money to solve the problems, ask everything, and we are there to solve that problem for you, answer every question.
Why more trust issues need the also power? I mean, kind another bell say politicians will say all sweet things to win your vote, but once they get into office, they forget about all their promises and focus on embezzling funds of Ghanaians. Why should we trust you?
I am not your typical politician. If you can look through my track record, I haven't joined any political party in this country.
Yes,
I am only getting into this as a part of service to society. I have no ulterior motive. And like I said earlier, I retire right now and enjoy my peace of mind. But I have made myself an altar of sacrifice. I've put myself on the altar of sacrifice to help Ghanaians. So the main reason why she's asking that question is the reason why I'm contesting. To prove to Ghanaians, say, if we take our eyes off from tribalism, from favoritism, from who is shouting loud, from all these noise, and sit down and critically choose the right leader, this country can find its destiny. Ghanaians have lost hope. And looking
at the message you said, Bano, how can we trust you? How can we trust you?
Yes, and I don't blame them. Even look at the current, what do you call it, campaign. What the Kaya policy? What the mobile phone 1 cedi? Is that what is going to turn our country around? Let's be serious. You see, the politicians have realized that they cannot take us serious because your koji t-shirt, 50, 600 cities, I will sell our conscience. But I am telling Ghanaians that will not take us anywhere. Say indeed, you fool say you possess say abrabumu, you fool say policies and say change your conditions there. Then there's only one candidate, there's only one group to vote for in this election, and it's Sam Ankrah and the Afia movement. Vote for us and let's see results in our country.
Right. When they say what I say, and let's see results. But go for help, go for a help. Intensity say no person de message and move a coma ya shuffle to see. Say nyame ya dom na kunya ne beda ho. Near say Dr. Sam Ankrah, who can who be? Ye be to a bar. Ye fa kukumoti and pimso and farmer.
Me da se mini aba. Mini an Ghana for the best part of 4 years, I voted government. Mosha Ibedi this government ninye and a government ninye and at the same results. Omedi sika, omaye say we complain and we go back to the same. I am saying to you, sir, the current systems and structures we have, no, it will not take us anywhere. The only way we can have a perfect, the best living conditions is for us to choose the right leaders or the right leader. I have offered myself, I have put myself in the altar of sacrifice, and I'm saying that I have heard your cry. I have heard all the grievances, the challenges, and the problems that we are facing. And we have sat down, thought through research, and prepared solutions to meet these needs. Vote for Sam Ankrah and the Afia movement in the coming elections, and we are promising you we will leave your problems and take you from the hardships. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you very much for your time. It's necessary more office and as a blue person joining my team now. Kwan be so no befa joining.
Yeah, social media handles.
Okay.
We will give them all the details.
Okay.
Dr. Sam Ankrah.
Okay.
Dr. Sam Ankrah _official.
Okay.
Sam Ankrah PhD. All these are the social media handles. The website too is there. Take the numbers, contact us. We will direct you exactly what you do. We are building community cells. Into baby I will be our catcher here. We will come and address you and direct you to the right place. Send you a your campaign or a pick momentum. Send a bit my change your crew. Yeah, bread. Yeah, bread. I have a family. At the right time we'll announce it.
It's all considered obesity or into what sector? So we economists is
we want to make sure that we'll bring a total balance. And we at the right time we announce. But all we can assure Ghanaians is that they will find the best leadership in us.
Right.
That we can give them, and we'll sign a contract with our people. Yeah, manifesto, and I say, yeah, they, but yet manifesto, but we are saying we're signing contract with the citizens of Ghana, so that if we fail to do what we are promising, they can take us on by it.
Right. Thank you very much for your time. Ebusene independent presidential candidate in the Nkomono. I am Mr. Dr. Samuel Sapon Ankrah. Now, so to me, friend Dr. Sam Ankrah for short. Now, be to me, Ako. Come, did you say what's your policies? No, what's your day done in human nisu adi huno de ma just a concrete Ghana. Intino sa wo kwa bato no so a na waka is a faculty. Yene Dr. Sam tenasi di Nkomo. Now problem sem na egu hono ma na etumi a influence ama watu aba ede ama ebusia ahana ma kwa na edi dwumede ne ebisa sita PSA nkoma dental charcoal toothpaste dental strawberry alive global toothpaste and afin so alive dental class toothbrush pe bi ato a omo kai shi bicycle na so betumi afre 0542478672 ana afin so no aura black star for aso yasene ama ene so dwumede no yetumi ede abrel dia na wa hye no so be from ewo 0302 452555 and that's 053-617-6327. Afens Eric Jam. I saw your person to Quine, person to Ghana Henny na or from 0240-851121 or more ebejo. So Victon Consultancy and so as so yes no from the CA L was 0248-501-307 27 3-in-1 chocolate mix and so airboard Yechida Asida PSA and command the entire production crew. Amam Refie producer one. Thank you very much for your time. And down so in a studio has say oh dear Banaveji. Sanso so and your call a cameraman na so Nicholas Steven Sintesta Damuninas Mr. Yalabu Bakasa Dickens so a director your call a MC and so Mr. Yusuf. Thank you very much for your time within the Afia Achiaa Rakia. I mean I don't watch now. Tuesday edition of Faculty Morning Show will come your way. It's more than say we do feed no ever to her no pebia now wash it. Have a lovely morning. Bye bye.